and welcome to 3Q the Artist, the podcast designed to go beyond the typical artist interview by asking three unique questions in just 15 minutes. I'm your host, Rachel Vogel, and joining me for tonight's episode is Nashville's very own Erin Kinsey.
Hi.
Hard at work since the age of just 11 years old, Erin is the epitome of a 10-year overnight success. Through her incredible voice, talented words, and upbeat personality, she's established herself within Nashville's singer-songwriters on the rise. When posting an original sound to TikTok, she's likely to receive millions of views, so it's no surprise she's amassed nearly 250,000 followers on the platform. And her debut single, Just Drive, has been featured on Sirius XM The Highway and has over 40 million streams and views to date. Erin is signed to Records Nashville, a joint venture with Sony Music, and her debut EP, 40 East, released just prior to making her Grand Ole Opry debut. So, Erin, so great to have you here. How's it going?
It's going good. I'm so excited to be here. You make me sound so cool.
You are. Erin is the coolest person I know.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm gonna just scratch the entire bio and just put that.
Yeah, exactly.
Rachel Vogel, coolest person I know.
Well, are you ready to get it started? First
I
question.
sure am.
I've heard many artists say, I am my music and my music is me. So, what does that mean to you and why?
I've heard a lot of artists say that too. I think as a songwriter, that's a very easy thing to fall into, an easy feeling to have, just being on such the creation side of the music. So obviously I'm in the country music world, and a lot of the songs that we write are storytelling. And I mean, luckily for me, I get to write about my personal life. So a lot of songs, even if the exact details, if it wasn't a red Ford Runner, but it was a white one, like most of the general ideas of the songs are very personal to me, and that's a wonderful thing and a horrible thing sometimes. But for me, with my writing and the style of my music, saying my music is me, there would be really honestly nothing else to call it, because it is my stories, it's my life, it's things I've gone through, feelings I've felt, and it makes for such a special connection between the fans and the artist when you get to be that vulnerable in the music.
100%. So, do you remember like the very first song that you ever wrote? Were you like 11 years old?
Yes, yes. So it was, you're gonna die. It was called Mean Girls, and you'll never guess what it was about. But it was about school drama that I was going through, and at the time, felt like the end of the world, of course. Being
Mhm.
11 and being a girl in middle school. I mean, all the stars were aligning for the worst possible situation. But luckily, I had been challenged by my vocal coach to write a song, and by my mom. And I had these feelings that for the first time, I really had no idea what to do with them. I was old enough to know that you weren't supposed to have an outburst and just scream and like lose your mind, but I was not old enough to know any idea of what to do. And I heard, all of the artists that I looked up to say that they wrote songs about it. So I tried.
Mhm.
And the song I Hope Never Sees the Light of Day, I know there's a recording and I know there's video, which is, haunts me. But makes me make sure I'm nice to my parents. But um yeah, it was one that actually ended up like meaning a lot to me, even though it's a song I hope never sees the light of day.
That's amazing. Well, I hope we hear it one day.
Oh gosh.
Okay, moving along. Question two. Every industry has its dirty little secrets, both positive and negative. What's one secret you would like to share about the music industry?
It's not glamorous or anything crazy, but I feel like the biggest secret or life hack I've learned since moving to Nashville is how much of the game is just outlasting and just not quitting. And
Mhm.
I think there's been a lot of times where, I mean, I've gotten the absolute honor of talking to so many people in the industry who have done things so differently and have such different perspectives. And I feel like it can get so overwhelming to know what the right path is or what the right thing to do is. And I think what I've learned is you really can't do it wrong unless you give up. And that's doing
Mhm.
it wrong. So, it's through the high highs and the low lows, which an industry like this is. It's, the best nights of your life to the worst mornings of your life to the like worst meetings to the best shows. It's just so dramatic, for lack of a better word. I think it's trying to find consistency and just sticking it out. I think that's the biggest secret I've learned and really leaned
Mhm.
in.
So speaking of consistency, personally, I know your schedule is literally insane. So
Yeah.
how do you balance that? How do you get like personal time and how do you stay consistent with that?
You know, it definitely was something I was able to take advantage of early in the year. I wasn't on the road and I was mostly just writing, but even a lot of writes were getting moved. And I don't know how it is in New York and LA, but I know here in Nashville, people ease into the year pretty good. So that was something that I really tried to take advantage of. And I tried to, go to the grocery store all the time and cook almost every meal and just like be home and do the thing and like do my
Mhm.
laundry, make sure I change my sheets out enough and things like that, walk my dog. Um, so when things are now starting to ramp up and now things are absolutely insane, I feel like protecting that time is important, like you said. So it's trying to get up a little bit earlier or even, thinking, do I really need to go out to that? Or would it be better to like live a normal life? So much of this is glamorous and so fun. But a lot of it's not real, like not super tangible and the things that make life like real and make you grounded. So just making sure you get that stuff into is so important. So I feel like walking my dog, like trying to like eat good if I can, trying to get outside, like literally just going on a walk
Mm.
in the morning, I feel like changes my entire day, just getting the sun on my face for 30 minutes. So stuff like that, but honestly, we'll see how it goes.
All right. Last question. Here we go. Today, you are 22 years old. So imagine you're 75 and you're being interviewed for a retrospective on your career and your life. What would you hope to be able to say about each?
you know, as far as my career goes, um, it's so hard to know where things are gonna land or how far things are gonna go. So as long as I get to keep doing it and don't have to, ever not do music. And I think the big thing for me is that I keep loving it and being passionate about it and don't get jaded as long as I can. And hopefully never do. Because I think there is such like a magic to the industry and but there's also it is an industry and it's a job. And so the more I can keep it sparkly in my eyes, I would love to be able to keep it like that. And then for my life, I think I just want to know that I treated people well and loved on people and, got to stay myself and hopefully have a family, hopefully, have a good relationship with my parents, my sister, like all of the people around me that I love. I think just keeping the things that are important at the forefront.
Everyone, stay tuned for next week's episode of 3Q the Artist, the podcast that goes beyond the typical artist interview by asking 3 questions in just 15 minutes. See you next time.